All right, good morning. Welcome. My name is Willis. I'll be your uh, facilitator today going over Gen AI. This will be an introduction to Gen AI, so it's going to be very high level, but we want to make sure it is beneficial to everyone within the group. We also have the chat up and running, so please let me know where you guys are. Hold on one second, got a little audio issue. Please feel free to log into the chat and let us know where you're coming in from, as well as if you have any questions along the way. I am part of the AI Ready RVA. AI Ready RVA is a brand new 501c3 officially last week. We are now officially a corporate entity as a nonprofit. We are aiming to establish Richmond as the leading AI city by promoting education, skill empowerment, collaborative networking, and ethical AI, as well as stimulating economic growth. As we get started, I want to go through some of these links and slides fairly quickly. I really want us to get some time in there, and I want to go through some exciting information about how to get in there and actually use ChatGPT and go through some sample prompts with you guys. So introducing you guys to really what the power of Gen AI has. So as we get started, let me go ahead and just pop this links up here so you can see the slides a little bit better. Let's talk about what is Gen AI. So let's just demystify a little bit about what Gen AI is and what it can do. So Gen AI is just an artificial intelligence that creates new content like text, images, music, videos. It's based on the data that is learned, but it's not just doing recognition and regurgitation. It actually has the power to generate new content. So that is kind of where it departs from the machine learning. It kind of moves into the realm of being a little bit more intuitive and a little bit more imaginative as it starts to develop. How does Gen AI work? Gen AI works by using models like neural networks that learn from large amounts of data. So you see a lot of the big players in the Gen AI field, the ChatGPTs, the Metas, the Geminis. They have a lot of data that they're able to train their system on. A lot of it's coming off the web, but also it's their unique data. It's able to take that data. You are able to give it a query or what is called a prompt and be able to pull out that relative information and help streamline the prompt to get more information for you that is pertinent to your topic. There are a lot of AIs out there right now. If you actually, every time you turn on the news, every time you turn on your Facebook page, LinkedIn, there's always a new Gen AI or a new AI device that's out there. So it gets kind of overwhelming. You really want to, as you're coming in and starting your journey with AI, you really want to start with some of the basics, learn those tasks, because a lot of the tasks on general prompting and talking with AI can translate over to a lot of these other tools relatively easy. So don't get overwhelmed with all of the systems that are currently available. There are a lot of free options to try out, as well as upgrading to paid options. A lot of times the paid options gives you just a little bit more functionality or a little bit more larger memory window. Let's talk a little bit about the four big guys in the room that are doing Gen AI right now. So let's talk a little bit about ChatGPT. Everyone has heard about ChatGPT. Their current model is the ChatGPT 4o, O standing for Omni. That means it is able to do not only text, but also within the mobile app, you're able to use voice as well as loading documents in there. So it's all can do multiple things, whether it's looking at an image, extrapolating what that image is. It is also able to take the text or a document and translate that document, or you can carry on a simple conversation with it. Pros to ChatGPT 4 by OpenAI is it's a well-established model with broad capabilities. So this is kind of like your general purpose AI. You're able to do a lot of different things with it, and you're able to really easily engage. So it's got a very user-friendly, interactive GUI. Some of the cons to ChatGPT is it's a little bit of a smaller context windows compared to the others. So what that technically means is kind of the roving memory, how it memorizes the data from its historical conversation. So as you create a longer and longer and longer string, if you're talking with them within the same chat or even within multiple chats, it will eventually start forgetting the last information because the window kind of moves as you go. For a novice or a beginner user, it's not that critical because I know you're not going to be doing like a heavy data analytics stuff. But if it is getting to the point where you are getting to like heavy data analysis or you're doing a lot of content creation, it could cause an issue there where you have to kind of start over and retrain your model. Claude 3.5 by Sonnet by Anthropic. This is one of the newest ones that have just come out, and it actually, a lot of the benchmarks is it's beating a lot of its competitors in its quality and speed. Big things on there is it's got a very, very large contents window, over 200,000 tokens. It also has a strong reasoning and a casual interface ability, so it means it can give you a little bit more robust answers, a little bit more, I would say, professional tone when you actually ask it questions. So it comes by as a little bit more of a structured or a formal answer. Some of the cons on this that we've seen currently is it's a little bit slower on the output. So if you are doing a lot of heavy data analytics and stuff like that, it tends to take a little bit longer to run through the models and get you kind of the information for the output. All right, I'm seeing John in the chat said he can't hear. Is everybody else able to hear me? All right. Coming over to Gemini 1.5 Pro. So this is by Google. So this is actually trained on all of Google's information. It has a very strong for coding tasks. So it is well known in a lot of the task areas where people are trying to generate code. So this is actually helping a lot of people who are not very efficient with writing in Python codes and things like that on being able to write on those. So it's giving you, it's actually lowering that floor of entry into coding as well. So it gives a very, very strong output for those. Some of the cons is we have had some mixed user experience. So especially with coding, it does create codes, but also you do have some issues where if you're building a lot of code, if there's something wrong in the code, it takes a lot of testing and analysis to make sure where the code broke at. So there is some issues there, as well as it's just not as well established compared to a ChatGPT or a Claude. Claude and ChatGPT are probably your two most well-known Gen AI systems. Third one I threw in here was Meta AI, so their Llama 3 program. So this is kind of interesting. So that have they set up and exposed their system to everyone, especially through like all their different platforms through Instagram and Facebook. But you can also still go to just Meta AI and interact it directly with the GUI itself as well. So it gives it wide open access to a lot of people, very easily get to it. What I've seen, for me, they do a really good on the non-paid version, very good on entry-level image creation. Their prompt for image creation, I've seen it. I've been really impressed with compared to some of the other ones. It looks a lot more cleaner and robust and a little bit more, except for when you go into the lifelikes and look at the hands and stuff like that. But when you're looking at more of like a Pixar's quality style, they do an incredible job there. Cons, it's just less consistent performance across all the tasks. So it's just not as robust yet, but they're definitely building on theirs. And then also they have, because of the way they've released theirs, it's an open source. There's been a limited official comparisons against other models like ChatGPT and Claude. So there are some differences in there, and no one's really done a head-to-head with Llama 3 compared to ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. It's worth to share that. Those are kind of the four. Kind of put this on just a little pivot chart for you guys, or a little table for you, kind of looking at what use cases to use these in. Because a lot of people are like, where do I use what? When is the best time to use a certain systems? I recommend using all of them because they all have a free service and finding out what best works for you. But based on some analysis and just industry feedback, general purposes and just high quality outputs, of course, ChatGPT 4.0 and Claude 3.5 Sonnet have just been kind of the industry leaders currently. For long context requirements, so like I said, that large token base, large windows, Gemini 1.5 and Claude are kind of leading that as well. So if you are doing heavy data analytics and doing a lot there, that would be where you would want to go. Open source applications, Llama 3. So it's best for users who need flexibility and customization because it is open source. You can integrate it into a lot of things. So it's a little bit more kind of a Swiss Army knife type tool you can use in other applications quite easily. As far as content, most up-to-date information is going to come from Claude 3.5. Their latest update when they did theirs was in 2024. So that gives you the newest data sets that they train their model on. So it just makes sure that it's more accurate and more timely. Now, most of these do have an integration where you can ask it to search the web and get the information, but then it's only looking for that one bit. It's not built into their actual training model. So always say try the ones I've done through my experimentations. I've actually enjoyed taking all 4 of them and asking all 4 the same question and just seeing the different outputs. So that's a really, really good way to learn the system. Now let's talk about prompting. So on prompting, a lot of people used to be scared of it because they used to always call it prompt engineering. And there is a prompt engineering subset where you're getting into really robust and deep prompting. But basic prompting is not something to be scared of. It is literally something you can literally write in just like you're doing a Google search. It's literally carrying on a conversation. Imagine this as a text message. So when you text your friend, they respond. Do you just leave it at that if you're asking more information, or do you constantly refine? So if they send you back an answer and it's not the full answer you want, do you just stop there, or do you text your friend back? Take that mindset and put that into how you talk with ChatGPT and Claude and these Gen AI systems. It is literally a conversational piece that lets you get to the final product. It allows you to refine it along the way. You can ask it to change its voice. You can ask it to add in different things as it goes. You can ask it just to regenerate it and make it more professional, or regenerate it and make it more funny, add jokes in, and it will do that. So don't be afraid, as if you have never used one of these systems, to go out there and really just test it and just have a conversation with it. As we get into this, we're also going to talk a little bit about the prompting framework. Now, I think buying or even getting prompt lists that already exist is fine. Those are great starters, especially as you are trying to get into a niche or trying to do things. Getting prompts that are specialized for those different industries or different tasks is a great starting point. But also learning how to truly talk to ChatGPT, truly talk to Claude and Llama 3 is kind of the superpower or the niche in order to get the higher quality content coming out of the system without using a regurgitated prompt that everyone else may possibly be using. So let's talk about a prompting framework. I see my screen's blocking one little face. So let me get my face off of there. This is a framework that I've been using, and I build upon this as well. But this is a entry-level framework that I think has helped me create a lot better quality, not only in life, work, and also doing stuff at AI Ready RVA. It's literally a 5-step process. Step one is choose your expert. So it's one thing to go into your prompt or in your taskbar and just ask ChatGPT a question and it gives you an answer. It's another thing to tell it to act like somebody. So act like a system engineer, or act like a project manager, or act like a CEO of a company. I've even taken it one step further. So what you're doing when you're asking it to act as somebody is you're helping refine its search. So what you're doing is you're creating its kind of persona. It says, okay, based on all of the data I have, which is the data of the LLMs, which are the most of the data that they have in their world, they take that and they search it all. And it comes up with the most common or the quickest find. What you wanted to do is you want to refine that search. So like rather than just saying, hey, be a project manager, Ask it to be a successful project manager with 20 years plus experience in doing this, this, and this, whether it's building slide decks or analyzing unstructured data, or building a customer success model. So you're basically telling it and you're refining it, giving it clarity of what it's supposed to act like. And then when it's doing that, it's going to use that knowledge of that persona to then search for your answer. Second is the task or ask. Tell it what you want it to do. So after you tell it to be something, tell it what you want it to do. I want you to analyze this data set. I want you to write this book, or I want you to, take my to-do list and make it as efficient as possible and tell me what I can prioritize and what can I eliminate. So you're asking for that. The background. It's literally kind of like the unique data set. So what we talk about that is everything you're talking about. So as you go in and you have asked the question, if you just ask the question and you ask to be an expert, you ask the question and you hit go, it's not going to know, like if you're asking for a calendar, it's not going to know what your calendar is. So the background is, here's all the tasks I have to do today. If there's certain ones that have a time set to it, I need to do this at this time because it sets that calendar. Or I have this information, I'm loading all these documents, or I'm taking this letter or my resume in there and asking it to look at this and redo it. So that's your background information. The more information you give it, the better, because that gives you the unique answers. It gives you the unique querying tone, because it gives you what we call a unique data set. And that's where the power of AI really comes into place. When you have data that no one else has, like your resume, like your documents that you learned in school, like the PowerPoint that you're currently working on, or the information you're currently working with. That is what helps AI, gives you the full quality and detailed specific to you on that ask. Then we have set the tone. This one has actually been really, really cool, is you can tell it to act in certain personas. So it used to be, just act professional, or, make it more whimsical. So those are very acceptable. But what about asking it, hey, I'm writing this letter to this person, and it's a motivational letter or speech. Write this in the style of Simon Sinek, or write this in the style of your favorite politician, or write this in the style of your favorite business leader. And it will actually help create the tone for that and write in that style. And then it gives you that draft that you can then edit for. Lastly, I got some hidden superpowers. If we got time, I'm going to walk through a couple of them. What I want to do right now is I do want us to pop into ChatGPT. I want to give you guys some sample prompts, very high level, but I want to walk you through a prompt logic so you can see ChatGPT in action. So let me go ahead and share my screen over here. And let me pull up ChatGPT. Perfect. All right. So when you're in ChatGPT, the free service is called ChatGPT 3.5. I'm currently in ChatGPT 4.0. So that is the paid subscription. Kind of the difference in there is the paid subscription allows you to upload documents, has a little bit bigger memory window, and allows a little bit more customization on there. So as we walk through this, we can actually come in here. You have what we call ChatGPT, Explore GPT. So they do have a GPT store type thing where it has custom GPTs in there. So like if you're looking for an image creator, something that specializes in resume writing, you can go in there and create that persona automatically. You have the ability here to even upload documents. So if I want to come here, I can come here and upload a document from my Google Drive or my computer. If you don't know what you're doing and you have a couple of starter things, so like, hey, I'm just playing around, pick out a great outfit that looks good on camera. It just starts the conversation. It's called a conversational starter. You can also, in the mobile app, which I think is great, is when you're in GPT and you're in the mobile app, one of the great things there is so when you're on the mobile app, you have the ability to choose the voice. So you can actually turn on ChatGPT to listen to you as you talk, and it will talk back to you. I do this greatly for brainstorming. I use it a lot for brainstorming. So when I'm driving in the morning to work, or if I'm just taking out for a walk and I have things in my mind, I just will ask it to listen to me, don't answer my questions, but summarize it after I'm done. And I give it like a keyword when I'm done. And it will just summarize it, and it'll be all there. And then you can ask it to give an executive summary and use it as a brainstorming exercise. On the platform, you have the ability to enter that text, image, or documents. So while I'm on the platform, let's talk about walking through a couple of prompts. So you can start off with a very simple prompt. Let's talk about a quick prompt called a dog story. You can simply come in here and just put in a prompt. I do have a prompt thing here to make it easier because you do not want to see me type. Create a short story about a small dog and how he found his new family. And it will literally create you a short story based on that limited information. It goes through, it's named the dog Max. It's already put in a bustling city. It's already named one of the kids Emma. It's gone through here. So Emma and Max, they stay together on the park bench. So it's literally, it creates a little children's short story. Very high level, but it starts off, right? So that's a simple, I'm just going to ask prompt. What happens if you implemented that kind of that step process? Let's talk about, entering a role and a task. So I'm going to come up here and start a new chat. And then I'm going to bring it a task, a role, and a background. So I literally says your role. So I use these brackets. So when I come in here and I use ChatGPT, I take these brackets around role. Think of this as an indicator. What that means is, like ChatGPT, is you create a lot of data, you want to make it as easy as possible to highlight what you want to do. So think of this as a highlighter. I'm highlighting that what's after this is the role I want you to play. So I put these little brackets and put role to highlight, saying, I want you to stimulate this. So here, you are a New York bestselling author with 20 years of experience creating children's books that are fun, family-friendly, and educational. I do the same thing. Task. I use the exact same prompt on the first one. Create a short story about a small dog and how he found a loving family. And then I gave him a little bit of background. The dog's name is Excelsior, and he's a small Boston Terrier that has a big, that his name is as big as his heart. His name is as big as his. Oh. We'll leave right there. They'll fix it. He thinks he's a knight of a round table. So I'm just giving it background, trying to create the imagination I had in the system. Just going through here. And I also I asked it to make it educational about the book, adjusting to new surroundings and making new friends. So let's just say you're a father, you're a mother, you're getting ready to move a new city. You have a young child who's not dealing with it very well. You can come to ChatGPT and kind of create this book for this kid as a new bedtime story to help him acclimate and learn how to cope with moving into a new house or moving to a new city. So ChatGPT allows you to do a lot of that stuff. So when I hit that same question, it starts making it, and it creates that exact thing. Name the dog Excelsior, he's a little Boston Terrier. It goes all the way through creating a whole new story based on that background. So quick and easy, short introduction on that. Now, what happens if there's something in there? I'm like, oh, I don't like his name as Excelsior. I wanted him to be a knight around table. Let's change his name. Let's make his name Excalibur. So I got a prompt. Rename the dog Excalibur, like the sword from King Arthur. So I didn't change chart windows. All I did is just ask it to rewrite the story and just renaming the dog Excalibur. So you can make these edits. This is great for, especially if you're a creative type and you want to write a book or you want to write a guide. You don't have to rewrite the whole thing. You can just ask ChatGPT to change certain sections of it. If you knew a special author that you wanted to write in the style of, you could have added in brackets, tone, write in the style of, J.K. Rowling's or whoever you wanted, and it would have wrote in that style. So that's a real quick introduction to a basic prompt. So let's get a little bit more technical. So we got the little whimsical going on the way. So let's go into a little bit more technical, right? So I'm going to create a new chat. I'm going to create a prompt. And let's call this prompt AI Ready RVA announcement. I am literally going to do a prompt that says, you are a customer success manager for AI Ready RVA for over 20 years, with over 20 years of experience developing customer outreach and engagement. Create a communication announcing AI Ready RVA's formation of a 501c3. Background. I just put the website in there. I want to see, will this automatically look at the website with me just putting the website in there? So I'm going to click go. Also note, great thing about ChatGPT is if you misspell something, it will actually kind of, as it's reading the conversational thing, it will actually see it. That word is misspelled. You really meant this, and will correct it for you. So if you have issues with spell check, I'm a fast typer. I tend to. It will actually correct most of them. Now, if it's horribly misspelled, it will not do that. It'll just skip the word. So it's always good to make sure you're reading that content as you're going, just to make sure that it doesn't skew your answer. So all it did is it literally created a news blog, Dear AI Ready RVA Community. It literally created an entire stream about the AI Ready RVA announcement. Talks about virtual lunch and learn, everything in there. Because it literally went to our website and it looked at our website. It talked about this virtual lunch and learn. It talked about the prompting 101. It talked about the workshop that we have. So it literally looked in there and pulled up that information. Now let's just say, hey, I think it's too professional. I want to have some fun. Will, you're right. So, some websites are prevented. So if you have there's a subscription wall to it or a firewall, like, I can't go on to, I work for Capital One full time. I can't go on to Capital One and ask it to pull Capital One information because the firewall will stop it. Same thing if it's a subscription-based company. So like I can't go to the Times Dispatch if I don't have a subscription and ask it to pull information there. You don't really want it to do that too either, because you also want to make sure you're being ethical and responsible and not pulling proprietary information. So you want to make sure that if you are pulling information like that, you are citing them and giving them credit for that information. So let's talk about making it fun and exciting. So this was a really good email, but let's just say I am a jokester and I want to make this funny and I want to throw in a cheesy AI joke or two. It literally comes in here and it starts writing, and it will come in, and let's see if it throws a joke in there somewhere. I'm not seeing a joke. Where's my joke? AI joke break. So it actually threw an AI joke. Why was the computer cold? Because it left its windows open. Like I said, cheesy joke. So you can literally come in here, change his tone, make it act like Jim Carrey. Respond to this email as if you were Jim Carrey. What would he do? Or Robin Williams. How would he respond? The more content that's on the web and that's available of that person, the closer to that persona it will be. All right. So we've done very short. Talk about the small dog short story. We talk about a little bit more like official communication. How do you use ChatGPT to make an email act as a persona? But what about you users who want to use this for work? I have a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet that I need to be analyzed and create information from. Let's take this tool. Let me add in. I can come in here. I'm going to upload to my computer. I'm going to upload this spreadsheet. Now, I tend to, and this is just the process I do, I tend to hit the spreadsheet and I hit enter. I just want to make sure it reads the spreadsheet. So I'm kind of seeing, without asking ChatGPT to do anything, I'm just going to see, what does ChatGPT think it's looking at? This document that I have opened up is literally just a spreadsheet. It's kind of an Excel. It looks just like, let me show you what it looks like. It was an Excel that I downloaded into a PDF. It shows me, and based off a web app, how many users per month and how many reports each user ran. and then also how long, so how many seconds it took each of those reports to run. So I kind of just created this and made the account names. So you can kind of analyze that spreadsheet using ChatGPT. What it does, oh, it says it seems to be an error. So let's try it again, because I know I uploaded it just a little while ago and it had no problem. All right, let's see if it reads this now. Oh, looks like after the error, it did have extract, but it just showed me a bar graph. So let's take a look at what it's analyzing now. ChatGPT can be a little bit finicky sometimes on documents, especially with a PDF. So it's only giving me a bar graph. So let me try to get this again. All I want to do is add. All right. So I'm going to add this with a prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the prompt that I normally add with. So on this prompt, I'm going to ask, you are a business analyst and customer success manager with 20 years experience developing executive summaries. Analyze this report so that you can summarize out to your executive, leadership, and product team. Background, this is an AI tech product that just launched to the corporate world. Tone is make it professional, because I'm going to be presenting this to a professional background. And that one we'll get back to a little bit. All right. So I gave it its role. I gave it its task. I gave it background, and I gave it a tone. So it literally took that document and it literally highlights in there. So your tech product launched to the corporate world recently, and we're following the outline. So it's from May to February. What are the key matrices? User growth and insights generated. The product has been significantly increased in both users. So it tells you literally insights, it's seen significant growth. Shows you that account 2, and account 4, and account 7 are your top performers. And it comes in here and says average time to generate insights, average time. So it literally does a full detail analysis there. So detail analysis, all of it, strategic insight. So you can use this as your draft for your company and for your business on what is going on. If you have the data, you can have the system go in there and help you summarize it. Now, I always make sure is you want to check this before you present to anyone. I always tell you, will always tell you that if you are generating something from ChatGPT, and if you just copy and paste it and send it, whether it's a social media post, whether it's a document or an email, prepare to embarrass yourself. ChatGPT likes to throw things in there every once in a while. It's what is commonly referred to as hallucination. As well as you want to make sure, especially when you're putting your name behind something in the corporate world, that it is been your stamp of approval. So you're now becoming more of that spot checker, and you don't have to worry about the whole content creation. This is helping you to take your strengths and highlight. So this is taking some of those remedial tasks, automating them, and helping you then focus on the most important things. So always check these. One of the things I do, and there's a little tip I'll throw in here, a little bonus tip, is if I am doing a lot of work and it has numbers to it, or if I'm doing something that has a lot of citations that need to read up to it, I will go to perplexity.ai, and I will ask it, take the snippet of this, is this true, and put it in there. And it will tell you, yes, this is true. Here are the citations. Or it'll say, I did not find anything that matches that, but here's what I found. So it gives you the resources and the thinking logic on if it's wrong, here's what it thinks is making it right. Or it will actually give you the citation, which then you can add to your document saying, based on this source, this citation covers that. Now, while you're still doing your analyst as a customer success manager, let's do a task. Let's ask it another question, still in that string, because you can literally carry on. Ask it to help you draft a PowerPoint deck. You're going to give a presentation and you want to make sure you have a PowerPoint deck outline. Let's start this up. It literally walks you through slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. Now, this may not be your end product, but this gives you a really good starting point. You will spend hours trying to figure out what your content is and everything, where this can spit that out. You can get done with the ideation phase so fast that you're now into the production phase. You're building the deck. You're adding the data. You're then in your mind as you're building it, you're saying, does this flow properly? Do I need to change something? And then if it does, go right back to ChatGPT and ask, hey, here's what I'm thinking. It will give you insights on that. So it allows you to upload documents, analyze it. You can also upload a large article or a book. Hey, I have an ebook. I really don't want to read it all. Can you summarize this and give me clip notes? That will do. It'll do that. Again, you gotta make sure it's not behind a paywall. But if you have like the actual full digital copy, it will do that. Large government documents, the PDFs that come out from the .orgs, throw those into ChatGPT. Ask it to summarize, highlight as part of the background. Ask it to highlight anything with this topic. So if you have a certain topic you want to make sure it gets popped out, you can ask it to highlight a certain topic. All right, let's talk a little bit about calendar planning. So we've gone through a couple of really good prompts: short stories, emails, trend analysis, and PowerPoint creation. How about my calendar? Right, I have a calendar. I have a calendar prompt that I've created that has just literally a list of my current calendar roles. So I literally create this prompt, and I will, as part of the links, I will link all of these into the actual chat. So if anybody wants to see the prompts, I'll actually add them as comments in the prompts on LinkedIn and YouTube. Let's talk about the role. So I wanted to say that you are a successful admin assistant that specializes in managing calendars and helping prioritize items. So I'm wanting it to become my own personal assistant. Let's do this. Let's actually create a whole new chat window. I don't like it being in two different chat windows. Sometimes it will be fine and it will upload. You'll see it will say update memory when you ask it to be another role. But I always have the habit of just creating a new window. This is probably off of the old GPT 3.5 method, where every time you had a new window open, it started from scratch. Where now the memory actually goes over conversations. So if you're not careful and if you start a new conversation and you don't ask it to be something else, it will still think it's the old person, the old persona, and may skew your answer. So that's one thing to always start off your chat as what your role is, even if it's you just putting in what the role is. Hey, I'm creating a new window. My role is this. I want you to act like this. And then the rest of that chat, they'll act like that. So I just came in here. I asked it to be that. I said, review my calendar and highlight most important items as well as what can be rescheduled or deleted. Also, tell me how much free time I have and if I can fit in any other meetings. And then my background is literally, I just created a task list with dates and times, that everything that had a date and time, I had task lists under. Go right through here. Yeah, well, I'm right there with you. I always try to start fresh, and I try to keep it busy. If you actually look at it, these chats are loading here on the left. You can go right back to the Max and Family finds a family, or Excelsior finds a new adventure, and you can go right back there and start iterating again. So you can always try to keep it kind of clean and straight through. So right there, it says, let's review. It literally came my morning routine. It broke down my work tasks that are needed, what my midday routine is, so when I'll take a lunch break and a short walk, my afternoon tasks, and evening routine. Well, a lot of people are saying, hey, that's just my routine. I already have that as part of my calendar. But here it does analysis and recommendations. Most important items: work on top priority projects at 9:30 to 11:30. Attend team meeting. Read and edit documents and reports. So it literally highlights these ones you need to make sure are done before you end your day. Here, items that can be rescheduled or deleted. So it does what I call kind of like the 4 Ds: do, delegate, delay, or delete. So it comes in there and it tells you, you respond to these emails. This can be rescheduled for later. It's not that important. Short break, you can reduce this if you need to. Coffee break. Now, people are saying reschedule, delete coffee breaks or short breaks is non-negotiable for you. You can put that in a prompt saying that those are non-negotiable. Free time. It tells you where your free time blocks are. So if you have any flexibility, you can move to those times. And then, of course, possible adjustments So it literally does a full analysis of your calendar. So that helps you manage your time wisely, and it helps you become more efficient. So all Gen AI has that capability where you just load in, ask it to highlight the high priority pieces, delete the lower priority pieces, and then ask it to prioritize for you, have it go through. All right. We're cruising right along. I think I've got a couple more prompts to kind of show you. I think it's a very good introduction to it. Let's talk a little bit about brainstorming. So one great thing with brainstorming is the voice function on ChatGPT's mobile. But you can still do brainstorming in the actual platform, and it's actually a really good thought mechanism, and helps you get your that wheels of innovation rolling. So let's do this. There are this prompt right here. I'm going to copy and paste over. Background, so right here, role, you're an expert business consultant with over 20 years of experience helping others, not others, realize their full potential and launch their own business. Brainstorm ideas for business opportunities that someone can start in their free time. My background, avid runner and hiker, loves podcasting and mentoring, has over 20 years of management experience in developing, advancing careers. Also volunteer, Chamber of Commerce, Folk Festival, and running events. Now, here's a bonus for everybody. This one is really, really good. I put in a second ask, and this ask is actually an ask to ChatGPT. This is, I think, one of the ChatGPT super weapons. Is you ask ChatGPT to ask clarifying questions. Ask me at least 3 to 5. Ask me as many clarifying questions as possible to make sure that you understand what I want you to do. So this is forcing, rather than ChatGPT to just give you an answer, it is forcing ChatGPT to refine its search, and based on what it's seeing, where does it feel its gaps are? So I'm going to ask that. It will come in there. It says target audience. So it's asking me, who is my target audience? Do I want, in my brainstorming with this business, who do I want my target audience to be? My target audience. Let's just say I want my target audience to be mentors. So I'm going to do 1, so it knows I'm entering that one. On here, if you see, if I hit just enter button, it's going to think I'm actually finishing my thing. So I always hit shift enter to go down one line. The second question is initial investment. So what are your things? Let's just say less than, let's just go $2,000. Time commitment. How much time do you really want to paste to this? So it's actually telling you 10 to 15 hours a week. So it's forcing it to refine that search for you. Now I answer those questions, it will now come up with what its brainstorming is. And then you get idealize from there, is basically ask it more questions, clarifying, refining it. You got virtual mentorship program, podcast on career development and mentorship, freelance business consultant, online course creation, event planning for nonprofits, coaching for runners, freelance writing and content creation, social media, workshop facilitator, fitness and wellness blog. So it walks you through that. So it literally can start that whole information. So you can go right through all that. We've got about 15 minutes left. I want to go through a couple more things. So I want to give you a couple more bonuses. So one of the other bonuses I just gave you just a while ago was the ask of ChatGPT, asking those clarifying questions. I really think that is a strong piece to getting ChatGPT to ask you those questions. Is going to give you the more direct and refined outputs that you're going to want. Another one is ban word lists. So ChatGPT has gotten a lot better lately, but ChatGPT is notorious for having reusable words, tapestry, things like that, things that are constant. Every time you look at it, you can kind of like, when you see that word, you're like, okay, that has been AI generated. You can actually create a prompt that actually bans words. So all I do is I leave this prompt in my Word document, and at the end of a large document that I'm doing, I just put in there, so before generating any text, examine the list below and avoid all cases of these words and phrases. And it's literally, I put a little parentheses behind it, every word that needs to be banned. Testament, is used a lot. So all I want to do is just try to tell it, whenever possible, don't use those words. It works highly effective. I'm not going to say it works 100% of the time, but it is highly effective of eliminating a lot of those those words that are constantly repetitive showing up in Gen AI. So always look for ways to improve it. All I do is I leave that in a Word document. So whenever I'm in ChatGPT, I can just literally go in the Word, copy and paste. Because I'm not going to sit there and type all that out. That is way too much. I literally just throw in the whole script all together. It literally will rewrite if you're currently having something and you're rewriting it, it'll rewrite it with the banned word list. So that's a great way to help what I call humanize ChatGPT, is getting rid of a lot of those cliche regenerate words. Another one, so we talk a lot about the tone. What about we take a tone one step further? I've been playing with this a lot lately, and I've actually seen a couple of people are actually trying to develop an app to do this as well, is how about creating a persona of yourself? How can you create ChatGPT to have the expertise, have all this information, fill in the gaps where you feel like you have opportunities, but still sound like you? Try creating a role or creating a persona to copy and paste at the end of it and saying, this is the tone, this is your persona. I created this little prompt right here. This prompt is literally asking ChatGPT to act like a prompt engineer for ChatGPT with over 20 years of experience with taking large data background information of someone's personality and creating a short, effective, and concise prompt that allows ChatGPT to act, write, and respond more like that person. The task is review and analyze the background information and create a effective personality. Didn't get it all the way. Effective personality prompt that can be used over and over and make AI sound more like that person. So I'm literally asking ChatGPT to act like Willis. The background. This is everything you can think of about yourself. It takes a little while to build out at first because you want to make sure it's as robust as possible, but I'm talking about put in your favorite authors, your favorite movie, put in your resume, your cover letter, any awards you've ever done. If you ever did a speech or wrote a letter, upload those. If you ever did a Myers-Briggs, put in your Myers-Briggs rating. If you did a insights through the Leadership Lab, the Discovery Insights, put that in there. If you did your 5 love languages, put in your 2 love languages, put in your personality plus. Do all of that. And I did mine. I'm not going to go through all mine because mine is rather long, but I'm going to copy and paste this in there real quick and create the prompt. So what will happen is it will create this prompt. So I'm just going to, and it will create the prompt. So I asked for all that information. You can see it's very, 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 very long. And then it literally walks through. I actually asked it to ask through at least 3 to 5. So one of the last questions I asked on that prompt is, before generating, ask me at least 3 to 5 clarifying questions. This is key when building a persona for yourself because you want to make sure it's answering those questions. So situational contents, key phrases of vocabulary, flexibility and adaptation, preferences, responses, and structure. It will get in deep in there. I will just going to say skip questions, but you kind of want to go in there and make it as robust as possible. And what it will do is it will actually then make that prompt. It'll actually tell you my name, the age. I even put in my ethnicity, my military background from being a military brat. I put in my, my personality plus, my Myers and Briggs, all of that, my favorite authors, and it literally come in there and created a prompt. So the prompt, I would literally just copy this right here, put it in a Word document, and at the end, I will then post that as my tone, or I actually put it as persona with the brackets around. And then it will actually act more like you. It will take some playing in there, and you also want to kind of move around because everyone's personality when they're writing something might be different. It might be too raw when you put stuff in there, where when you write something, you kind of filter it through your ethical, your all your background of the way you grew up. It's only taking the information you gave it and just regurgitating a persona. So you want to play with this to make sure you refine this one. It takes a little time, but as you get to one and you start feeling that is a magic bullet for creating content. It looks like you, sounds like you all the time. Always use that. Perfect. All right, we got about 8 minutes left. Want to run through a couple of things. We're kind of done with a lot of the training portions. Had some great comments. Will, I saw you were in there a lot. Great talking with you, Will. Same thing, Timothy and Laura. I think John Alexander as well, John. So let's talk about what is going on in AI Ready RVA and some of the upcoming events. So upcoming events for AI Ready RVA. First event is coming up on August 12th. This is AI Presents RVA Meets AI. It's harnessing AI for entrepreneurs. We have special guest speaker, Vanya and Mark are coming in. I would try to pronounce Vanya's name. I don't want to butcher it. I'm sorry. Vanya and I have been working closely together to get this event up and running. And she is a founder of an AI company called Dual AI. She's also a student at USC in their AI for Business, and she's also a published researcher. So her research on AAPI, so Asian American and Pacific Islanders research, and a lot of this conversation that we want to talk about is how to help minority business groups and minority business owners tailor their marketing to other cultures. So as you build out your marketing as a small business owner, and I even think if it's not a minority business owner, this would benefit you because it's going to talk about how to communicate effectively with other cultures. I can't effectively communicate with another culture because I've never been that culture, but you can use the power of AI to get to that point where you're building a persona where it's effectively communicating across the board. Mark Parson is coming in. Mark Parson is a Richmond native. He is a former NFL football player. He played for the New Orleans Saints and the Houston Texans. And he's now an investor and a business owner here in Richmond. He's also a huge community advocate, doing a lot of community outreach, engaging the underreached communities to help them get access to things like AI and tech and stuff like that. So he's going to come in and talk about the need for these services and these educational groups like AI Ready RVA in those communities to make sure that they are being given these tools and access to excel and succeed to the fullest. The day after that, on August 13th, on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Oh, let's go back on here real quick. I want to do a quick thing. This will be at Dominion Payrolls Building on August 12th at 5 to 8 p.m. Tickets are going to be $35 for that event. If you go to AIReadyRVA.com, the tickets are there. Next one is a free virtual event. This is AI Empowered Education, Insights and Innovations. So our great friend and committee member, Phil Dimitro, is also the founder of Richmond Debate Institute. He's also the founder and just recently launched Richmond Institute of Technology and Science called RITS, which is a robotics nonprofit company that is working with students at the VCU Center. He'll be talking a lot about AI and education. So walking through with teachers, especially focusing on K through 12, is how can we effectively use AI as a teacher, but also those conversations about how AI can be effectively used within the classroom as well. We're going to have that conversation, which will then eventually lead to an in-person event that we're planning on in the next month. Our friends at the Richmond Forum have a event coming up on November 23rd. We want to make sure we promote this one. I tried to pronounce the name several times. It's Bartudui Thurston. I think I butchered that name. I do apologize. He will be in, so he is a second, get my note on there. On this one, he is a comedian as well as a writer and producer. So every year, the world's most powerful voices come to Richmond to share their ideas, stories, and perspectives regarding today's important issues to answer your hard-hitting questions. So this November, uncover what it will mean to be human as we barrel towards a more digital integrated future fueled by AI, when Richmond Forum presents writer, producer, and comedian for artificial intelligence, what is real. So on this one, you will go to the richmondforum.org/tickets to get tickets for that one. I always encourage you also to follow our LinkedIn's, YouTube's, and our webpage. So if you go to aireadyrva.com, you can actually subscribe down at the bottom, but also follow us on all of our other social channels and engage in our community as we build more curriculum and more events to help integrate and truly make Richmond AI ready. With that, I am done. I truly enjoyed talking with you guys today, and you guys have a great rest of your afternoon, and talk to you guys later.